All right, ladies and gentlemen, today I am here to talk about how to stop foreclosure. Now, foreclosure is a big problem here in America, and even though recent statistics have shown that foreclosure activity is going down just a little bit, we're still on pace to have over 500,000 homes go into foreclosure by the end of this year. And we're also on pace to have almost 350,000 homes be repossessed by the end of this year. So obviously, as I said, it's a huge problem here. Now, some of this is due to people walking away from their homes if they're having trouble paying. Simply because they don't understand the consequences of foreclosure or for some other reason. But that's a different story for a different day. Today, I want to focus on people who don't know what their options are. And so with that being said, the purpose of this video is to open up the curtains on the mortgage industry and to give regular people insights on foreclosure that they normally wouldn't find anywhere else. So if you or someone you know is in danger of losing their home, then hopefully this video will be of great assistance. All right. Now, there's three basic strategies that you can use to get out of foreclosure. Number one being negotiate, meaning you can try to negotiate with your lender for a compromise. And then two and three are fight or flight, meaning that you can either fight the foreclosure or you can use a flight strategy, which means you can either leave your home or you can have the ownership of your property transferred without it being repossessed by the lender. And so I'm going to go over these three strategies, starting off with negotiation. Now, when you're dealing with foreclosure, communication with your lender is the most important thing. If you've fallen on hard times, you've missed some payments, if you think you're gonna miss a payment, whatever the case may be, communicate with your lender ASAP. Reach out to them because in many cases your lender may be willing to work with you. But if you don't talk to them, then the problem is just going to get worse. And also, don't ignore your lender. So if you're getting requests from your lender, don't ignore them. Do not ignore court requests or documents, and respond to all requests. Because if you fail to do this, you may end up in legal trouble, and it's not going to help you keep your home. So it's best to be proactive in this situation. So what I'll do now is go through some of the options you have as far as negotiating with your lender. All right, now the first thing you can do is ask for a forbearance. A forbearance is a special agreement between you and your lender that will allow you to make partial payments, or in some cases no payments, for a specified period of time, enough time for you to get back on your feet. So most lenders have their own selection of forbearance options. These options include a full stoppage of payments, reduced payments, split mortgage payments. So for example, that would mean paying half the balance twice per month, reduced loan rate, or interest only payments. So again, this is a short-term fix if you're going through something, a short-term crisis, and you'll be back on your feet soon. Now, another thing you can do is you can make a claim on your loan. Now, there's two basic claims that you can make. Number one is a partial claim. Now, a partial claim is only available on FHA insured loans. But what it is, a partial claim is you will receive an interest-free second loan from your lender to cover whatever your delinquent payments are on your mortgage note. So, and this loan won't be due until you pay off your mortgage, refinance your house, or sell your home. And so again, this is only available on FHA insured loans. Now, if you have a conventional loan, you can make what's called an advance claim. Now, this is similar to a partial claim, but this is where you receive a loan from your mortgage insurer to bring your loan current. So you'll be on the hook with your insurer to pay them back for that loan. So again, these are short-term fixes. So if you're going to go through something long-term, or if whatever the crisis is, if it's going to last for a long time, or if you've had a change, then you'll want to move on to the next set of negotiation tactics. Now, here are some options that you can use if your financial situation has changed for the long term. Number one, you can try to have your loan modified. Sometimes your lender will modify your loan to help you out if you're having trouble making payments. And so I'll go through some methods of loan modifications. Number one, you can try to have them extend the amortization period. Now, what that means is this. Let's say you have a home loan and you've got 10 years left to pay it off. Sometimes your lender may extend it to 20 years or 25 years or even 30 years, and that will lower your payment. And so if you're having trouble paying, sometimes they will do that. So that's something you can ask for. You can also see if they will change the rate. Now, your rate is obviously based upon your credit score. However, sometimes the lenders will change because, getting something is better than getting nothing. So they may change it, especially if you tell them, well, I'm not able to pay, and I may declare bankruptcy. Sometimes they may be willing to actually change the rate or switch the rate. So switching the rate would be, say, if you had an adjustable rate mortgage and your interest rate had gone up over the years, they may allow you to switch it to a fixed rate, and that may make the payment a little bit more manageable. Now, another thing you can do is hire a housing counselor. Now, a housing counselor is somebody that you can hire to work on your behalf and negotiate a compromise between you and your lender. And then what they'll also do is they will work with you financially to get your money on track. So that's how they work. Now, housing counselors will charge a fee, and sometimes they'll charge, thousands of dollars. And, that could be a good investment if it helps you to keep your home. Just keep in mind, nobody can guarantee that they will stop or stall a foreclosure. And also keep in mind that if they do stall your foreclosure, you may not be in any better situation later on than you are right now. So that is something you want to consider when hiring a housing counselor. So these are some of the methods that you can use to negotiate with your lender. Now, if negotiation isn't working, or if you can't negotiate, or if you don't want to negotiate with your lender, then another alternative that you can try is to fight the foreclosure altogether. And I'll go through ways that you can do that. Now, you can declare bankruptcy. Now, by declaring bankruptcy, you'll be able to stop foreclosure proceedings completely by an injunction called automatic stay. And I have a link in the corresponding article to that will explain that in a little bit more detail. But there's two types of bankruptcy you can declare. Number one is a Chapter 7. Now, in a Chapter 7, you have all of or most of your debts discharged in exchange for a seizure of all property not exempt from collection. So if you do this, you won't be able to stay in your home, but what you will be able to do is stall foreclosure for a couple of months using this option. Now, to qualify, you have to take a means test, and you also have to go through a credit counseling and debt education program. The second type of bankruptcy you can declare is a Chapter 13. Now, in the Chapter 13, you agree to a repayment plan to pay back most of, or if not most of all of your debt over a period of time. Now, doing this, you'll be able to keep your home outright, and the plan itself will depend on the type of debt you have, how much you owe, and how much you earn. And so, in order to qualify, you'll have to show that you have enough income to meet your repayment obligations, and you also must be current on your income tax filings. Now, the second strategy that you can use to fight against foreclosure is to use what is called a foreclosure defense strategy. This is where you attempt to stop the foreclosure on the basis that your bank does not have the right to foreclose. Now, these defenses can be very effective in some cases. They're also controversial. A lot of people don't want to use them because they feel like they're on the hook for the debt. So it's up to you on whether you want to employ these or not. Now, the first strategy is to make them produce the note. So whenever you get a mortgage, you sign a promissory note. In this case, a mortgage note. So the note will state the amount of debt and the rate of interest, and it will obligate you to pay. So in order for your lender to enforce the debt, by law, they have to have that note to prove that they're actually the owners of the debt. So making them produce in a lot of cases can slow down and even stop the foreclosure process. It's been estimated by attorneys that as much as half of mortgage notes signed between 2001 and 2008 have been lost or destroyed. So using this defense, again, it can slow down proceedings. It's not generally thought of as a long-term strategy, but can be. But it will also, in many cases, make lenders more willing to negotiate a repayment if you start coming after them like this. Number two, you can question the chain of title. Now, this is akin to the above strategy. It's a way of questioning the ownership of the mortgage. So again, in order to sue a homeowner for a debt, the lender has to prove that it actually owns the debt. Now, what has happened is a lot of these companies have sold these mortgages on the market. Now, in 1995, the mortgage electronic registration system was set up to make it easy to transfer ownership of mortgages from one company to another by acting as a mortgagee. And so this made it convenient for banks at that time, especially when, again, a lot of mortgages were being put into securities and traded on the market. However, a lot of people think that this registration system is really just serving to hide the true owner of the mortgage, making it difficult for people to get help resolving loan issues. And some courts do not completely trust this registration system. So with that being said, if you can successfully question the database that keeps track of this chain of title, you may be able to keep your home, or again, make your lender much more willing to negotiate repayment. And I also have a link in the corresponding article to explain a little bit more in depth on using foreclosure defense strategies. Now, if negotiating with your lender or fighting the foreclosure does not work, or if you just don't want to use these strategies, then the last thing you can do is use a flight strategy. Now, these strategies revolve around either moving from your home or transferring ownership of your home without it being repossessed by the lender. So I'll go through these. Number one is a short sale. A short sale is when you sell your house for less money than what you owe the mortgage company, and the lender agrees to take the short payoff, hence the name short sale. Now, this can affect your credit negatively unless you can get your lender to report it to the credit bureaus as paid in full. Good luck doing that. Not all mortgage companies will allow you to do this, but if they do, your lender will have to approve any buyer before you move forward with it. Now, the next thing you can do is to execute a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Now, a deed in lieu of foreclosure is where you voluntarily transfer the ownership of your property to the mortgage company in exchange for a release from the mortgage and payments. Now, options are normally available to help you immediately leave your home, lease your home for up to 1 year, or stay in your home rent-free for up to 3 years. Now, sometimes you have to pay a fee in order to receive this option. And lenders are reluctant to agree to this option, so they normally won't do it unless all other options have been exhausted. Now, the third one is assumption or lease option. In this option, a third party will buy your house, or they will assume the loan and they'll allow you to lease the house from them. Now, sometimes lenders will even be the buyer. Now, in most cases, loans are not assumable. If they are, it's normally FHA or VA loans. But if you can get your lender to waive this clause, sometimes you can go forward with an assumption. Now, a note before I finish up on the flight strategies. There's private firms out there that will offer to buy your house and rent it back to you. Now, these sale and rent back companies are regulated by the FCA, the Financial Counsel Authority. Now, they can be very dangerous, as there are a lot of scammers out there. And not all of them are scammers, but there are some scammers out there. And in 2012, the sale and rent back market was actually shut down temporarily because of consumer fraud. So if you want to go with this option, make sure that they are compliant with all requirements. And I have a couple of links in the corresponding article to this that explains the sale and rent back market a little bit more in detail. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this presentation. Hopefully you have found this information useful to you if you're experiencing issues with foreclosure or a lender trying to repossess your home. And now that you know your options, hopefully you feel more empowered to take action. However, I do realize that sometimes we may still need someone to hold our hands and or guide us through the process. So if you do need assistance, what I recommend is that you try to find an individual or a company that will offer a variety of solutions to your problem. The last thing you want to do is get involved with somebody who can only offer you one solution, unless that solution is something that you have already chosen. And let me explain what I mean by that. While being faced with foreclosure, if you go to different people, you will get different answers as to what you should do. A real estate agent will tell you to short sell your home. A loan officer will tell you to refinance your home. A bankruptcy attorney will tell you, well, you need to file a Chapter 13. A debt negotiator will tell you, well, I think you need to attempt to restructure your debt. But the question is, which one of these solutions is the best solution? Well, the answer to that question should never be based on what a provider has to offer. The only goal should be to solve your problem. And so for this reason, I personally recommend the All Solutions Network. Now, the All Solutions Network is a network of professionals that span a lot of different fields. They're the network. They provide services and options to bankruptcy, credit, debt, real estate, family, and a lot of other issues. And so, because they're so diverse, they have less of an incentive to do anything outside of provide you the best solution for your own personalized situation. Or in other words, they have more of an unbiased approach when it comes to solving your problem. And so that is my recommendation. Now you see I have the link here on the screen. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is below the video, and if you're on the article page, this link is at the end of the article. And if you click on the link, it will take you to a website, and there will be a phone number that you can call for a free, no obligation consultation. With that being said, though, I want to end this presentation by saying this. Whether you decide to go about this alone, whether you decide to go with my recommendation, or if you decide to go in a completely other direction, I can't stress enough that you need to take action. The worst thing you can do on this is bury your head in the sand. A less desirable move is superior to making no move at all. So this is definitely something you want to be proactive about, because the longer you wait, the worse this situation is going to get. So in the end, whatever you decide to do, I wish you the best and good luck. So until next time, free your mind online. This is Matt Mason.